glad you appreciate that there's 3 different intros to the cool stream. It's so it gives everyone enough buffer time to grab their snacks and their beverage of choice, because we're gonna get this thing going. There he is! It's that boy once again! Another Wednesday, another cool stream. Consistent! Full month so far. 5th one in a row. 5th one in a row. He did it. Promises made, promises kept. How's it going, chat? My name is Akiko. Right off the top, let's talk about last week's cool stream. Can you all hear me? How are we looking? How are we looking? Got a new little setup here, okay? This is a very special Switch appreciation stream. But first order of business, last week's stream, we had some audio issues with the ROM night. My Steam Deck was just driving me nuts. What's going on with these ROMs? Why am I getting crackly audio? Turns out my Steam Deck was set to 50 hertz. The PAL standard. Not my PAL.
Think you can get it inside mine?
Never my PAL. I don't know how it switched over to PAL. So I switched it back over to the 60 hertz, God's golden standard for hertz. The audio's now working. We're going to have another ROM night in June. I plan on at least having one ROM night a month. Dealer's choice. There used to be a guy that I watched on YouTube. He would have ROM nights once a week or a couple times a month. But he died. He's unfortunately dead. So I got to pick up the mantle. Somebody's dropped that bag. Let's pick it back up. Oh my God. Shout out to J-Spot, member for 54 months. J-Spot had me over at his place for a crab boil, for a crawdad boil. I appreciate that. Shout out to all the GameStop crew. That's my former manager. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? I've been friends with this guy. Who's friends with their former manager? Didn't burn that bridge, I guess, after all that hot shit I've talked about GameStop, but shout out to J-Spot. Shout out to, let's shout out. By the way, chat, I have you right here with me. I kind of switched up the layout for tonight's stream. So we got a little bit of chat, Hikiko on the set here. I might get a little more light on the set. Let's get a little more light, shall we? How about that? I'm getting a dark shadow from my mic, but how about that? Too bright? Let's cut it in half. That's better. That's a better balance, I feel. All right. Wow, so many people in here. We got 30 people. So let me give some shout outs here. San and Sense, what up? Gun Plus Skate, Sakuragi Red. Green Joy-Cons are sick. They sure are. They sure are. Now you can see my stream layout. They kind of look green. Can you see the green? They look more green back there anyway. We got Captain Psychopath, Big Mod. Talk about Pizza Boy 1. Frog Minutes, the King is back. Me or Eric? Eric, of course. MD Chaos. You know what, MD Chaos? This is it. We're going to christen thee.
Oh my God!
You are going to get a wrench tonight. Bam! MD Chaos is in here. Showing up to every stream. Perfect attendance. You got that wrench, MD. You can sweep it up if you want. We don't really do too much in here. Everyone's fairly respectful. Helen Homunculus. What's good, Mr. Mori Media? It's a wonderful Wednesday. Endoru, let's go. Slewdag, yeah, we have 3 different intros. We got to warm you up, okay, before the main event. You got to have the opener. Eric Abramov is my opener. I want to reach out to him so bad. I would like to interview him. There are so many questions I have. Kodai, 25th. Alex, hello. Bradley Calavera. Any relation to Manny? And then The Art and Times of J. Ryan, one of the sickest collections in my Discord. Going through. I didn't even know he was sick. We're doing it tonight. Hey, what's up, Psychoix? Upvote this stream. Leave that like. Okay, as a reminder, we're going to put this up top just so I can remind everyone. This is how we do things here. Get out of my face. I don't want to hear any excuses. Leaving a like's the free option. Keeps the show afloat, keeps us honest and consistent. We got a long panel tonight. I brought some information. I brought props for show and tell. This is going to be a good one. I also, you know how we do things here. We got a new ghost flavor to try out. Friend of mine, I've been having discussions in my real life about my obsession with ghosts. I was like, I have about 1 ghost a week. My aim is to try all of them. But they recently released a new iced tea lemonade flavor, like a little Arnold Palmer. And I dig that. I love Arizona Arnold Palmers. So we're going to try this. This is hard to find. I could not find it at any gas station nearby. So I'll have to ask my friend where they got them. So we traded some ghost. All right. I'm a better mod than an admin, I can confirm. Well, welcome MD Chaos to the fold. Sup Hakiko, what's up Faither? All right. So, Bradley used to be Bradley Anderson. Yeah, I know you, bud. I know all you. 40 people in this bitch. It's going to be a great night. Okay, so I gathered you here today not to trash on the Switch 2 as much as I want to. We're showing appreciation. We've drank our Soylent. We bought all the Funko Pops. Our wife's boyfriend let us borrow the Switch one more time. It's nothing but pause. It's a positive stream. Positive polys in here, okay?
Oh, Jesus.
All right, so let me crack this open. We really got to get this juice in us. Got to get all those nootropics. How's the sound coming in? We've got a little interesting setup tonight. This is, let me know if there's any issues whatsoever. Woo! That's a feedback loop. Let me know. It's better to fix them now than later, because last week we just had such a catastrophe. Ooh, I wasn't expecting that to be carbonated in the way it was. It's like a sparkling iced tea lemonade. That is weird. It's pretty good,
hey, bro.
Oh, wow. J-Spot with the $10 dono. We appreciate you, J-Spot. $10 dono says, who needs a free version? No comment. Will you be tasting the Switch cartridges to compare? I've never done that. I've never been compelled to taste. I know they have some form of bitterant on them, and I've never done it. Maybe if you grease these palms a little, we might do it on stream. I don't know. Maybe. Okay, let's talk some facts here. I found this very interesting. So before I did this stream, I watched an Emperor Lemon video. I'm a fan of Emperor Lemon. And he had a little vlog about the upcoming Switch 2. And it's very much finger pointing. Like, who's to blame the most? Can you blame Nintendo for raising their prices on both the games and accessories and the system, everything? Basically setting the new precedents for how game video games and games accessories and systems should cost in the current era. But he jogged my memory on something that I completely forgot, that the Switch 1 was also relatively expensive for the time. And we're talking back in 2017, the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch, I got one right here in my hand. This is my green one. This is my launch-ish model. This is the one with the unpatched exploit. That's the one I have. I believe it was like a Tegra security vulnerability. This is the one I have. This is my OG model. These Joy-Cons have been replaced several times, but it launched at $299 US. It launched in the UK at $279.99 euros or pounds, I believe. What's up? Shout out to San and Sense member for 53 months. Got the Hikikomori hat. And then in Australia, it was $469.95 dingo dollars. I am so sorry. The Outback's, it's rough out there. And then I had the Japanese in yen. It was 29,980 yen, which is a lot cheaper than the US. If we convert to US, it probably sits around like $240 if we're using modern conversion. I'm not exactly sure what 2017 was like back then, but it was a bit cheaper in Japan. In Japan right now, the Switch 2 has a Japan-only region Switch 2 that is a bit cheaper than the region free. They want to cut out the scalpers. They want to keep all the business within Japan, and they don't want gaijins like me going over and buying all their simple series games for rock bottom prices and then flipping them over in America. It's a different economy. Okay, so known issues with the Switch, Joy-Cons, Joy-Con drift. We'll be talking about that, but I want you guys to know how crazy expensive Joy-Cons were. Believe it or not, I have purchased, I'm part of the problem, I've purchased like almost 5 sets of Joy-Cons throughout my time, or at least inherited them through various means, but these Joy-Cons right here, they're supposed to be green. I got another pair over here, the Halloween colors on the dog. These Joy-Cons, a set of Joy-Cons, $80 US for the worst controllers Nintendo's have ever released. All of them. I would say, I'd wager 9 out of 10 Joy-Cons you will inherit will get drift at some point. An unaddressed phenomenon by Nintendo. Now, I know how to fix these, and I have a friend who knows how to remove the Hall effect. J-Spot in here. He's offered to fix them up for me. I've fixed a set myself. They are the most annoying things to take apart and put together because they have all these like little ribbon cables and tiny screws that strip super easy. And then the worst part is putting the ZRs back on because there's a spring in there. The moment you take it off, the spring goes bling across your room and you're sitting there with a magnet like you're on the beach trying to get your fucking springs back. I'm a fan of DIY, fix it yourself, but even I, somebody who's fixed so many systems throughout my life, had trouble with these Joy-Cons. These Joy-Cons are the bane. I don't know if the Joy-Con 2s are going to be any better. Seems like there's more moving pieces to account for, but remains to be seen. Mario in chat says, I've had 4. I sold my old gray ones to a friend. Had the neon yellow arms ones. Have the pink green since Splatoon 2. Yeah, I have the pink green set, but my pink one got the drift. I had to get the pink and green for the Hikikomori colors, but unfortunately got the drift, and I was too annoyed to try and fix it. San and Sense, you never got the drift. Yeah, I'm a Wii U guy myself. My Wii U's never got the drift. Anyway, so also to get back on the accessories, there was the Switch Pro controller for $70. Now, I am a fan of the Switch Pro controller. When given the opportunity to play with this over the Joy-Cons, I take it 100% of the time. This has about a 40 to 50 hour battery life per charge, but it has to be on a higher amperage than your typical USB-C. So basically your cell phone charger will take care of charging this. And then pairing these can be kind of a pain in the ass. The button is really annoying to press, just a pet peeve, but this in itself was $70. So if you just wanted to play with a standard controller wirelessly, $70. But you could also pair like USB controllers to your Switch. Like when I go to every year, I go to my buddy's New Year party. Shout out to Kirk. And we play either Duck Game or Mario Party or something. And he has so many different Switch controllers. Like he has that wireless 64 controller and the wireless NES and Super Nintendo controllers. I actually have a couple of these. I bought the 8-bit DOE. This is the N30 Pro. You can pair these wirelessly to the Switch, but it's kind of a pain in the ass. But you can do it, and I use this for my Steam Deck. I use this for my Switch and my PC and other things. This one has the GameCube stuff on it, but when I play like the old NES games, I use this. And this was like only $40, okay? $40. And it's like a good Swiss Army kind of controller. And probably the most egregious of all, the most expensive, worthless piece of shit accessory you can get for the original Switch. This is a Switch appreciation stream, by the way, but I just want to point this out. The Switch dock itself, this is $89.99, and that may or may not include a charger. If it includes a charger, I can kind of see the value, but the chargers themselves were like $50 on Amazon. But if you paid $80 for the dock alone, it's insane. This is just a regular USB-C docking station. My Steam Deck uses a similar docking station. I kind of show you right here. My Switch works on this, by the way. This is my generic jank Switch or Steam Deck docking station. It's got USB-C, it's got LAN, it's got everything, and it doesn't scratch my Switch when I pop it in there. I haven't popped it in there in a while, but you can kind of put your Switch in there like upside down, like so. Like so, and it doesn't scratch your screen. I do have a scratch screen on my original Switch here in a couple of places from simply trying to rest the Switch in the docking station, right? So this one here is my OLED one, but simply doing this can scratch it, especially in the Gen 1 models. So those are my main gripes with it. It's like Emperor Lemon was right. Many Nintendo fans are sweeping it up for Nintendo. They're shining those shoes. They're coping all the time about the Switch 2, but they didn't realize that they caused this by paying into these expensive accessories, and I'm part of the problem for the Switch 1. The Switch 1 was remarkably expensive if we, like accounting pre-inflation, you know. The Switch 1 was nickel and diming you. And they didn't really offer any major solutions for Joy-Con drift. You had to do it yourself. Because GameStop, you could probably like con GameStop into taking those shitty ones if you wanted to. Okay, so we got so much going on in chat here. Dude Face says, never got the drift somehow. You're so lucky. You know, I'm pretty gentle. I'm an adult man. These are my wife's boyfriends, Joy-Cons. I'm an adult man. I'm very gentle on my controllers. You know, maybe I'll play a game in Wario or something that'll make me go crazy with them. But for the most part, I treat them with respect. I don't eat food and then just get all my Dorito dust in there. I usually just use the Pro controller. And I've heard that the Pro controllers also are susceptible to drift somehow. Thankfully, that's never happened to me. Smeem Boy, I'm glad you brought that up. Smeem Boy in chat says, I like the Daemon Ex Machina controller attachments. So I'll show you something that's cheaper than your standard Joy-Cons. This is so ridiculous. So right here, I got them. Let's get that click going. Look at these bad boys right here. You ever seen that before in your life? This is the coolest out of the Joy-Cons. This is the Daemon Ex Machina. I believe this is by Hori. This like adds some back buttons there, kind of like the Steam Deck. I know you can remap them, I believe. It adds like big triggers too. So if like you don't like comparing these two, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but that's the tiny one. And then you've got the big boys right here. So if you really want to get serious on some Monster Hunter or Daemon Ex Machina or any big game, you want to get the Hori click-on ones. I love these ones. MD Chaos, yeah, Daemon Ex Machina got this. I saw it on Amazon and I had to do it. And I don't regret it. Let me show you too. If you get up closer here, the X right there, see that? That's the X from Daemon Ex Machina. It has like a little closer, focus. It has like a remap button and a turbo button. Not sure if this is tournament legal. I wouldn't take it to a Smash tournament, okay? But if you're just chilling, playing through whatever action game, this is a good accessory to get. I don't know if it's compatible on Switch 2. I hope so. The one downside to the Daemon Ex Machina Joy-Cons is that it drains your battery at like 1.5 times the rate. So if you're playing, I recommend just popping in the charger and playing off the charger that way. But yeah, I really like it. And my girlfriend's Joy-Cons got the drift. And I'm going to show you what I did. So one year for her birthday, I went on to AliExpress. And the Nintendo 3DS had a limited edition Animal Crossing themed 3DS. They call it the Pop-Tart. And I went on AliExpress and I found the Pop-Tart case on AliExpress. And I took apart her Switch. I just stole it and I just ripped it up and said, let's gamble on this. And I built an Animal Crossing. Let's see if that'll focus. Focus. It's a little too bright. We'll bring it back here. But you can kind of see that there. It's got all the Animal Crossing buttons, and it has all the Animal Crossing like leaves. It's got the apples and all the dots and stuff. But we call this the Pop-Tart. Unfortunately, for her, this right here, both of them got the drift. And in order for me to fix that, I think I stripped one of the screws. So I'm going to have to like drill out these Joy-Cons and do a board swap or something. But so instead of the Pop-Tarts, this is typically what her Switch looks like. This is kind of crazy. All right. Oh, wait, I forgot to mention the dog. Inside of each original Switch 1 came a little grip for your Joy-Cons, which is so strange because like we call it the dog. You can kind of, if you look at it this way, it looks like a dog with wonky eyes, right? So this is one eye, this is the other, and then like, I don't know if you can see that, but on the left and right, it looks like two droopy dog ears right there. But we call this the dog holder. And the dog holder, I mean, in a pinch, it's okay. Like if you're at a Smash tournament and you don't want to like hold two separate Joy-Cons, it's okay. but I'd say it's worth your money to get you one of these, okay? There's just no comparison. No comparison. You want bigger, thicker buttons and an actual D-pad worth the damn. I was never a fan of... So if you look over right here where my finger is, that's the D-pad on regular Joy-Cons there. Right here. The D-pad is just 4 separate buttons. Hate it. Absolutely hate it. That's why you want to go with the Daemon X Machina, because it comes with a real clicky kind of D-pad situation. That's what you want. Hey, what's up, BioPhoenix? BioPhoenix has a Nintendo Switch video out right now that you can watch. BioPhoenix has the deepest cuts, the realest gamer collection you've ever seen for the Nintendo Switch. I watched that. Cover to cover, Bio. I'm a true BioPhoenix bro. You've heard it here, folks. Anyway, so that's most of the accessories I have to show. Oh, we can move on to the rest of the systems, and then we'll get into the games and all that stuff, and we'll talk some memories. Yeah, an iDog says Blayless now. That's a good reference. Yeah, Frogman, it says worst D-pad on the planet. Hey, what's up, world-renowned GeoHound? Hikiko's like if Twin Perfect wasn't too arrogant and egotistical and continued to make content. Thank you, Hikiko. Listen, I shout out to Twin Perfect. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. I know I poked fun in my Shattered Memories video, but it was out of respect. You gotta respect the kings that came before you. I may not agree with all of their takes on Silent Hill or their approach in calling their audience arsler babies, but I respect the hustle nonetheless, and we wouldn't be here without them. I really owe my channel to TP. Shout out. Salute. Okay. Moving on. So, I have my Switch here. I might put it on the dock. It's connected to my capture card. We may play something, or we could just do a little collection stream, you know, keep it simple tonight. But this is my launch-ish window Switch. I paid full price for this at Best Buy. I wasn't exactly enthusiastic about my purchase at the time, but at this job I was working, everyone had a Switch, and they were all adding each other, and that was what I wanted with the Wii U. I tried to convince so many people to buy a Wii U. I had David over at my house. I made a video on David's channel about the Wii U launch, and I tried to convince him that it was a good financial investment, and he wasn't buying it. I think he eventually did get one when Splatoon came out, but he wasn't convinced. And then so everyone at my job had a Switch, and they were all adding each other and playing games, and I felt left out for the first time because I didn't initially buy a Switch. I had no plans on getting one. So the Switch launch was kind of dire. I do remember Breath of the Wild and a couple other ports from the Wii U. I was a bit miffed about that because I'm like, I was here, I showed up, I supported this shit, and now everyone's gonna get it on a portable system. But when I bought my Switch, the first game I bought for it, and I've bought this game so many times, even though it used to be free, it still is free. There is a freeware version of it, but Cave Story right here. Cave Story, there are so many different variations of Cave Story out there. This is Cave Story Plus. There's a 3D one on the 3DS, which is supremely rare. It's got a lenticular cover. If you ever see Cave Story on the 3DS, take it from Hikiko. You want to snatch it up. All right, and then sit on it for a decade and then resell it. But I bought this primarily because it actually came with an instruction manual, full color instruction booklet. And it was $30, okay? Full color, full spread right there. It had that Nintendo magic, and I wanted to support Studio Pixel because Cave Story was like the first indie game that I ever played. I played it on my shitty old Dell Inspiron laptop. I love Cave Story. I've beaten this game probably 100 times. I played through it so much. And then so anytime a new Cave Story comes out, I support it. It also, this is insane. It came with a Nintendo GameCube. It came with a GameCube disc soundtrack. Literally, what? In 2017? Cave Story this is the soundtrack. It's on a GameCube disc. And I believe it has the original and the remix on there, but I've never listened to it. But maybe let's spin it now. Do I even have a disk drive on this PC? But yeah, I don't know if this is rare or not, but I do recommend it. It's a good port of Cave Story Plus. It doesn't have the 3D models and stuff. I don't know if Pixel is actually receiving any money for this. I heard Nicholas, the company that now owns Cave Story, really fucked over Pixel. I don't know. There's some expose. I'll have to research it before I say any more, but I sure hope my money went to actual helping Pixel. He needs the money. But so I bought that, and then of course I bought Breath of the Wild again after beating it on the Wii U. But I would say Breath of the Wild was... Oh, I even have my receipt here. That's crazy. I paid $59.99 and I got a $5 discount on it. So I guess I paid probably just $59.99 after tax. But yeah, I still have my original copy. I think I gave... I think I just bought it to let a friend borrow it because I still had it on the Wii U. And then, yeah, as I said, everyone at my job at the time had a Nintendo Switch. And these are people that, you know, it's kind of like a Wii phenomenon. They weren't gamers per se, but I was excited. So I added everyone, and I actually played online with people for the first time in a long time. Hey, what's up, IRL Glitch? Big Mod in here. Alan Smithy says, apparently I'm sitting on shitloads of rare games without knowing because I still have a sealed copy of Solito Robo. Damn. Yeah, that is a really rare game on the DS. Nicholas was good about physicals on the Switch. Yeah, I bought more indie games on the Switch than probably anything else. So we're gonna get it. We're gonna get this crazy We're gonna go stacks and stacks of games. Whew. We're 40 minutes in. I'm already sweating up a storm, but it's been good so far. I usually don't do pickup streams, but this is a send off, I guess, to the Switch 1 before all this new chaos creeps in. I went by GameStop. Y'all ready for a GameStop story? I think y'all ready for a GameStop story?
Okay, throw me some numbers.
1's in chat if you want to hear a Gestapo. 2 in chat if we're moving on to the games. 1's in chat if you want to hear a Gestapo story. 2's in chat if you want to see the games. Get to the games. I'll leave it up to you. I need to take a little breather here. Sina says, I remember how exciting the Switch was for indie games when it came out. Yeah. If you were first on the store with your indie game, you were rolling in it. We got 1's in chats. A wall of 1's. 1's for days. If 1's were donos, old Hikiko could retire. Straight up, it's unanimous. Thank you so much. 1+1. All right, so little tangent here, but I did go to GameStop. I was curious. Now, about a week from now, there's going to be a midnight launch at a couple of the GameStops in my area. There aren't too many left. And I wandered in on Monday, Memorial Day, which is a holiday for most. Shout out to San Innocents for gifting those memberships. Appreciate you. Memorial Day in the U.S. is supposed to be a time where we recognize our fallen soldiers and the dead. We remember the OGs. We pour one out, right? Any respectable business gives their employees Memorial Day off because everyone has somebody dead that they know, except GameStop. So, I was looking. I'm part of the problem, I know, but I was looking for what was open on Memorial Day because I had that time, and it was GameStop. GameStop was one of the only shitty places that was still open. So, first of all, I know I got there super early. They had all the gates closed, so they had a sign on the door that said, "If you don't have a Nintendo Switch 2 pre-ordered, don't worry, we've got extras. So come join us at this midnight lunch." And they're also doing like trade-in promos. So if you trade your old Switch towards the Switch 2, you got a certain amount of money, but you had to go inside to inquire about it. Well, currently I have, let's count them, boys. Let's count them. Just in my proximity right now, how many Switches do you think old Hickey goes? Oh my God. Hold on. Wiggler Bro with the 50 euros and a super sticker. No question, no comment, just a super sticker. Can I even leave a heart on that? Wow. Wiggler. Thank you so much, Wiggler. Wiggler, if you have a question or if you want me to lick a Switch cart on stream, I will do that. Thank you. Thank you for the support. So the GameStop had shuttered everything. I was reading the sign, and there was one lady running the whole show. All the GameStops you go to have like a skeleton crew. I want to read the Wiggler Bros comment. Wiggler says, "This is for all the documentaries and pseudo coverage I've watched over the years. Thanks, Wiggler Bro. More to come. We've got a new Swery File Cross Grasshopper B-sides coming at you sometime this year, pending a release date on Hotel Barcelona. But there's more to come. I promise you." Anyway, back to GameStop. One lady running the whole show by herself. If you go into a GameStop, tip all your game advisors out there because they're getting paid shit wages and they have to run everything by themselves. Meanwhile, GameStop's buying massive loads of Bitcoin using the meme stock money. They had $4 billion in their war chest, and now they're offsetting some of that with Bitcoin. Look it up. But they're not paying their workers enough. So I peruse GameStop, and all of their Switch games are massively marked up right now because they know everyone's coming in, buying up the Switch 1 games to play on the Switch 2. So everything on Switch 1, if you're going to sell it, you can probably get a better price for it now. But I still wouldn't recommend selling it to GameStop because I'll tell you why. When I was in Japan, some of you guys know this if you watch my Japan trip video, I forgot to bring my Switch. I only had my Steam Deck on me. And Japan is very much a mobile society, and there's a lot of train rides. And I saw Japanese guys playing their Switch Lights the entire time. Like, I just saw more Switch Lights than anything. And I got jealous, and I decided to go to Soft Map Amusements, and I got a Switch Lite right here for $70 US dollars. I don't know. It was like 10,000 yen or so, but it was about $70 US dollars. And that's an insanely good deal because these, brand new, run about $200. So for $70, I could have something with me for an entire month. I could put it in my pocket. The Switch Lite fits in my jacket pocket, and you can just smoothly whip it out. I even got a screen protector for it and everything, and I had my digital library so I could still access that, and I had some physical games I wanted to test out too. But curiosity got the best of me, so I went over to the GameStop and I started asking the lady. I was like, okay, so you're running a promotion. If you're trading your old Switches towards a Switch 2, what's that going to knock off the price? And she told me I can give you $50 if you trade it in towards a Switch 2, or I can give you $35 cash.
Think you can get it inside mine?
$35 cash for a Switch 2. That's not even worth the gas that it took for me to get over here. I don't think so. I don't think I'm ever going to give up the Switch Lite. I honestly love the form factor. It's very, very lightweight. It feels like a deck of cards. That's how light the Switch Lite is. It's a very nice one. But, you know, I was just curious. No thanks. Not trading that in. I think the highest they were going to give was going to be $100 for, this is a Switch OLED. Now, this is a Primo. Getting into this is the higher end model. Another super chat. Let's read it off here. We got J-Spot in here. J-Spot, Poland, you guys are so nice tonight. Thank you so much. J-Spot says, have you tried the Welch's Grape Ghost? Tastes like what my church used for communion. Yeah, it tastes a little bit like lean. J-Spot, yes, I have. I think I drank it on stream, at least one of them. But shout out to J-Spot. Thanks for the $10 dono. I actually did invest in a Switch OLED. I'm a bit, ever since the PlayStation Vita, I've been spoiled by LED screens. Let's get it on here. I got Fatal Frame right now. This is Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. I have a friend of mine that's really big into Fatal Frame, and they reminded me that this existed. And so I bought it because it's technically a Grasshopper game. Suda51 is behind Fatal Frame, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. So I'm almost done with it. I think I'm going to make a little something on it because it does tie into something else. But I got the Switch OLED. This is a premium device. Let me compare it, shall I? Let me compare this. Shall I compare thee to a Nintendo DS? Shall I compare thee to a Nintendo DS IXL? Okay. The reason why I got the Switch OLED is because I regretted not getting a DSi XL when they came out. This is my DSi XL shout out. I love this fucking thing. It is so clicky and weird. It feels like a book though, right? This is how you play. This is how you play the DSi XL here. It also has like a big chunky pin with it that I have somewhere. I think Pepper, my cat. I gotta tell you something real quick. My cat Pepper steals things and then hides them under the couch. She has a little place where she hides all the things she finds. I call it Pepper Cove. And Pepper took my DSi XL pin somewhere. But I didn't play the DSi XL until it was like long out of production, like 3DS. And I was like, man, I wish I would have just upgraded and got the premium one with the bigger screen and, you know, better viewing angles and all that. I wish I would have gone premium. And then so I didn't want to make that mistake anymore. And I was like, you know, I've played the Switch more than any other system this generation. And I love the PS Vita. It's time for the OLED. And I like the bigger screen. I like the darker black levels. It's a great system, honestly. And my Joy-Cons were starting to drift on my original one. So, not to promote piracy, but here's my line of thinking. I hacked my original Switch. I did it so I can have RetroArch on it, the full NES library, the full Super Nintendo library, offline. I can dump my own games to my system and then just have my library all in one, right? And it allows me to, like, you know, try out a game before I buy. Is that so wrong? I clearly buy games, by the way. But this is usually how I do it. I have one system that's hacked. I have one system that's legit. So my OLED is my legit one. you know, if I need to connect online for something, I'm able to. If I'm able to do, I don't connect my hacked one online. It's permanently in airplane mode, okay? I'm not cheating in games. I'm not doing any of that. I just like to play retro games in my own library in a very convenient form. And this thing was getting old, really old, so why not? Anyway, I do recommend this. Honestly, if somebody were to ask me, would you still get an OLED over a Switch 2? I probably would. I have no reason to get a Switch 2 at the moment. No games that I'm interested in. And I'm a big reader. I like visual novels. And this is a decent visual novel machine. But don't feel ashamed out there and getting a Switch Lite. Okay, let's do a little side-by-side here. Okay, look at this. OLED just eclipses it. Okay, little... right there. That does it. See? It's a massive difference. But you do whatever makes sense for you. That is how I always say it. I'm not going to shame anyone out there if you're excited for a Switch 2, but it's not in my price range. I don't want to drop $500 plus like 80 plus accessories plus tax. Like you're looking at all told probably $700 out the door because I'll have to get a new memory card for it. It's just insane. Now, what would push me over the edge? Maybe that Kirby Air Ride game. I'm kind of a fan of Kirby. But I would need like an exclusive Swery game, exclusive Grasshopper game, because for a period in time, the Nintendo Switch had both of those things. For a period in time, the Nintendo Switch had exclusive Suda games, and the Deadly Premonition 2 what used to be exclusive, but we'll get into that. God damn. Chat, you're going by so fast. I'm going to try and catch up with you. We'll read a little chat. And then we're going to dig into the games. Gunplus says, I missed the Vita. Don't miss it. It's still around. Still very relevant in 2025. Yeah, both versions of the Vita, the Lite and the OLED, are pretty good. I like them for different reasons. Jerry says they got the Retroid Pocket 5. Yeah, I played that at Kirk's. I think I played Illbleed on it. David's in here. I've only played the first 2 Fatal Frame games on the Xbox. Yeah, they're great. I've reviewed both of those. I'd like to do the rest of the series. I reviewed Maiden of Blackwater as well in the Wii U video. BioPhoenix says the Xbox versions are my favorites. Good choice, King. Smeem Boy says Kirby Air Riders and Daemon X Machina too. Yeah. I'm going to wait it out, okay? I don't know that Nintendo will drop the price. I think they've got it all depends, because the original Switch sold about 2 million units. I believe it was about 2 million units near launch. And now we're sitting at like 14 million lifespan. That's insane. Those numbers are insane. But it all depends. I'm going to watch what happens at launch. I'm in no rush. I'm going to let all the kinks get worked out and see if I'm really curious on the Switch 2. There's a rumor going around on Twitter. Somebody got an early Switch 2. It's probably some retail worker or factory worker. They got one off the line. And they tried booting it up, and their Switch 2 won't let them play games until they get the initial first day one patch to unlock the OS, I guess. They tried to play like some Switch 1 games or something. And so I don't know. I'm going to wait on that before I say anything. Does it play? We'll do their tests. But I'm not a fan of stubs. Definitely not a fan of the empty cartridges that just call out to servers. If it becomes a situation where you have to depend on Nintendo servers to access your system at all, or if that rumor that they can block or render your Switch to neutral or neutralize it if you pirate or homebrew anything on it, not going to be a fan of that. I'm not advocating for piracy, but I think if you own hardware, you should be able to do whatever you want with it within reason. I say that as a PC owner. I say that as a Vita owner. I say that as a Steam Deck owner. Nearly every system you have at some point will reach end of life, end of support. And I think when that time comes, Nintendo should have no say over what you do with your system. And plus, as my friend Captain Psychopath told me, Switch pricing across the world is not consistent. You go across the globe, you're paying like way more for games than you would in the US or in Japan. And Nintendo also kind of have been taking down ROM sites and emulators and blocking different ways to play games that they no longer sell on their stores. So, not a fan of them. They are kind of evil in that regard. So, I've got no delusions. As a man sitting here with fucking 4 different Switches and stacks of games, I am no fan of their practices whatsoever and how they attack preservation. That's my little ramble on that. DRM is the true villain. It was maybe Xbox One and Don Matrick. Maybe they weren't wrong. They were early. Maybe they weren't wrong about the market and how they would get there. They were just a little early. That's how I feel with modern consoles at the moment. People have forgotten their history. Helen Homuncula says, Nintendo selling bricks to peeps without no interweb access. Yeah, they're having issues like you can't even like watch YouTube or Hulu on it, something like that. Plus there's no browser, something. I mean, even the Noble DS had a browser on it. I think the original DS, you could get a little cart that would give you a web browser, and you can still watch it. Your 3DS, you could watch YouTube videos on. Like, come on. My PS3 over there still plays YouTube videos. All right. The Wiggler says, Nintendo locked out other developers since the 80s. Yeah, Tengen. And we could get into a whole discussion about that, but yeah, you had to make a shell company if you wanted to circumvent the amount of games you could release per year. And then some people are like, fuck it, let's make third-party games like Wisdom Tree, Tengen, all back in the day. So where are the video games, Hikiko? Where are the video games? I got a lot to get through, so we're going to get right into it. Thank you so much, by the way, everyone who's been donating. That is craziness. These are in no particular order, okay? Some of these are still sealed because I bought them twice. Anytime there's a Wario game, I buy it twice. I buy it digitally and I buy it physically. But I have WarioWare Move It. I got this for $40 because they were having... It was like one of those websites I saw on Cheap Ass Gamer that's like, sign up for a deal here and you'll get it for $40. So I snatched it up. The WarioWare games, I've got both of them. This one is, if you've ever played that Wario game on the Nintendo Wii, it is a sequel, Smooth Moves. This is a sequel to Smooth Moves. Literally a sequel to a Wii game. It's a silent sequel. But it has a lot of carryover games from that, and the story is basically the same. It's good. If you have to have Joy-Cons to play this. I think it's one of the few games that's not compatible with Switch Lite. There are a few games like that, but it says like see that grayed out box? There's a warning on the back that says it's not compatible with Switch Lite, so sorry. Well, I think though, you can play it on the Switch Lite, but you have to pair a separate set of Joy-Cons to it. But I recommend if Nintendo releases a Wario game, they put out a tech demo. There's some tech demo for the Switch 2 that's paid. Don't buy that shit. If Wario comes out with a game, buy that. All right, moving right along. Cave Story, this was a launch game I got. No more. What more can I say? Same thing with Breath of the Wild. I like it better on Wii U, if I'm being honest. Hey, what's up, Moon Juice? Good to see you. All right, so another code recollection, folks. This is the last game I ever bought at Best Buy before they closed forever. I had to walk in and pre-order this. I reviewed this on my channel. I'm honestly not a fan of this collection. There's 2 games in it. The first one's better. I think the reason why this game was ruined, in my eyes, was because of the Switch Lite. Nintendo forced them to make this compatible with the Switch Lite. Instead of like using Joy-Cons and forcing them to come up with creative puzzles that took advantage of the technology, they did not do that. The artwork's good. The soundtrack's good, but very silent. The voice acting's kind of dog shit. The second part of this is awful, but I'd still recommend it if you can find it physically. Buy this if you want Hotel Dusk remake. By the way, there is a rumor right now that they are making a Hotel Dusk remake. You know I'm going to be there, and we're going to cover it. Shout out to Ashley Mizuki Robbins. Underrated. Okay. Here's a soy story for you. This is one of the only times I ever recall shedding a tear about an announcement. Can you guys guess what it's going to be? This is the only time I ever screamed at an announcement, and I shed tears. I'll let chat catch up here. Let's read this chat. Nemesis9 says, "Hey Hikikomori, I recently hacked my Switch OLED and I went overboard getting a bunch of accessories, like 1 terabyte. Can you hack the Switch OLED? Nemesis, if you got a Twitter, you need to be DMing me. I need to know more. I didn't know you could hack the Switch OLED. BioPhoenix knows exactly what it's... Andrew, y'all know, this is the only time I ever screamed out loud and shed a tear. It wasn't the Good Life DLC. I cried for different reasons. DP2. Very controversial game. Very divisive. Like all of Swery's work. It's truly the product of an auteur. The mind of an auteur. And I think a peak alcoholic at the time. Deadly Premonition 2. A blemish in disguise. A blessing in disguise. I put out a Swery files on it, and I sort of ripped it to shreds. That doesn't mean to say it doesn't have its merits. It's an okay game overall. It's got a heap full of problems. I do like the soundtrack because the soundtrack they got like this royalty-free music, and I found the studio from which they got the royalty-free music, and I downloaded it. And also, Deadly Premonition 2 uses the same soundtrack that they use in The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs. So, if you watch The Last Drive-In, listen carefully, because there's some Deadly Premonition 2 music in it. But, I would say there's... I've warmed up to Deadly Premonition 2. It's certainly not a perfect game. A lot of issues, both mechanically and story-wise, but I'm happy it exists, and I said as much in my video. I'm happy this thing exists. I'd rather an artist try and fail than fail to try. He certainly gave it a try, and I think Swery had people in his heart when he made this. He's like, I thought this is what you wanted. I thought you wanted meme quip Reddit guy. Isn't that what you want? You didn't want a story that was too serious, did you? I don't know. This is a sequel to D4. If you want to know what happens to D4 in Season 2, it answers that, kind of. I like this better than The Good Life, okay? But, go watch my Swery files on it. It's one of my better videos. I really went out of my way on that one. The kids' cuisine part, I love that part of the video. So we got that, but there's also a companion piece here. This here was announced on the same day as Deadly Premonition 2. Deadly Premonition Origins. Such a weird project. It's got kind of the best and worst of both worlds of Deadly Premonition. As y'all know, I'm a stan of the OG. You gotta play it on Xbox. Okay? I'm not an Xbox head, but if you want 360, Xbox One, Series, whatever you got, smoke them if you got them. Play the original one. But, Deadly Premonition Origins, the best part of this one is it came with this box here. I think I paid $30 or $40 for this collection. It's a good deal. And I've given away some of these pins to my friends. Like I got the sweary one that I wore in that video, the I Love You All. And there's a Sinner Sandwich one. And then I've got a jean jacket that I just wear in my personal life. I got a jean jacket and I put some on there. I mailed one of them to my friend. Shout out to Nami. Nami's a real big fan of Emily Wyatt, so I sent her the Emily Wyatt one. There's a York one, like Isn't That Right, Zach? There's a, I almost spoiled it, but there's a Raincoat Killer one as well. So there's Raincoat Killer, Isn't That Right, Zach? Emily Wyatt, and I think there's one more. When I get shit like this, I give away some of it to friends, so I just don't keep it in the box all the time. But Deadly Premonition Origins, it got a couple of patches, but it really didn't address any of the major issues. This has all the problems of Director's Cut. It has like really weird balance. It's super easy. The frame rate takes the biggest shit in Greenvale, and it's like 60 frames in the Otherworld segments. The audio is super compressed. They removed the green filter. Shitty fucked up camera angles. I really don't recommend this version of it. If you can, get the PS3 or the 360. Go 360 if you can, but go with those two. Really avoid these. But if you have no other choice, I'm curious to see how this plays on the Switch 2. That's like literally the only reason I'm curious about the Switch 2 is to see if this fixes any of this shit. But also, if you look in the background right here, that's my Deadly... I made that custom frame. That's my Deadly Premonition. I got that off of Redbubble, I believe, that poster. That is not AI. An artist drew that, and I'm happy to have it. Okay, so that's the Deadly Premonition stuff. Yeah, chat, you're going by so fast. I'm going to read a little bit. We're at the 1 hour mark. It feels like we've been here for ages. Indie Chaos says, I still have my 360 copy. Me too. Here it is. Ha! I'm going to get buried with this. People are going to be at my funeral like, what is he clutching in his dead arms? Gardenbeck says, the night they announced those was so good. I played DP Origins all night. Was the driving physics messed up in Origins? Yes. I cover all the problems with Origins in the video. Go watch that. Blayla says, I bought a 360 copy under $50 back in January 2021. It's still sitting on it. Keep it. It's worth its price. It is the rule of rose of its generation. Maybe not as expensive, but still worth it. Yeah, the American cover. So allegedly, as the lore goes, the reason why they don't use this cover is because in sweary fashion, in sweary game fashion, this actually came from like a Norwegian death metal album. They traced it back, like they copied and pasted this Norwegian this face screaming here from some Norwegian death metal album. They printed it and sold it for $20 on February 17th at GameStop for $20 US. Craziness. Not many people know about that, but I've got the proof. I have the proof that that was sold on February 17th at $20 US on GameStop. I wish I would have scooped up more. And yeah, David, we played the board game. Anyway, back to the Switch. So let's, I got some Japanese pickups here. If you watched my Japan video, we'll just move right through them. I got Super Princess Peach for like $25 US. This is like a $60 game on the eShop right now. Region free, in English, by the way. If you can import it, you'll get games cheaper from Japan. Maybe not for long with the Switch 2. This is a simple series of Volume 1. This is board games. Othello, Mahjong, Slang and Tiles. Let's go through these simple series. Let's see, I told you there'd be some simples. I want to get them in order, though. This is the card games right here. This literally cost me... These are supposed to be simple 2,000 games. They're like 2,000 yen. So it was like about $14 US for a physical copy of these game compilations. Not too shabby. Then you have the Bass Fishing right here. I still want to play this. And then the mystery game with Not Freddy Fazbear. So that's what I picked up in Japan. I also picked up this, of course. Pikmin 1 and 2 HD. So I probably paid about 27 US dollars, I want to say. Maybe a little less. But for Pikmin 1 and 2, two of my favorite games of all time, I think so. When you go to Japan, they've probably already raised all these prices, unfortunately, but I scooped them while I could. All right, so I got a really funny story. Really funny story. One of the most anticipated games besides Deadly Premonition 2, and they announced this like pretty early on. I think this was in development for the Wii U, and then it got pushed over to the Switch. Miyamoto's pet project, first game I bought for the GameCube, series I love near and dear to my heart. Pikmin 4. There's a review on my channel if you want to know my feelings on it. And I haven't used it yet. But I got this Pikmin water bottle here. Look how bright and yellow. Can you see that? This maybe holds 2 cups of water. I don't know how many milliliters that is, but brand new. Right here. And you can put it on your carboner and walk around like the idiot you are, Hikiko. This is Pikmin 4. This game is a 10 out of 10. Hands down. It's a bit easier than the other Pikmin games. Like, if you want an OG challenge, if you want the challenge, Pikmin 1 and 2 for sure. But this is literally the best in show. And all of them are great. Even Hey Pikmin's pretty good. But the funny story is, I'm not going to tell you where I ordered this from because I don't want to blow up my spot in case I do it again. But me and Kirk were talking about it, and I think this was about last summer. I was like, Kirk, I pre-ordered Pikmin 4. And I got a text message from the business that I pre-ordered it saying that they charged $0.00 to my bank account. And I was like, does that mean they canceled my pre-order? And Kirk's like, let me try it. And then so Kirk pre-ordered it as well. Because I think we just wanted the water bottle. We thought the water bottle was cool enough because you bought the game. I would have paid full price for the game. But I wanted the water bottle the most. And then Kirk, he pre-ordered it from this place. And he got the same message. And we're just like, what's going on here? Did they cancel our pre-order? And then so we waited until the game launched. About a few days after the game launched, it arrived at my house with the water bottle. I checked my bank account. They didn't charge me. And I was like, Kirk, they didn't charge me for Pikmin 4. And he goes, they didn't charge me either. Me and Kirk got 2 free copies of Pikmin 4.
Think you can get it inside mine?
That's not the one I wanted.
Oh my god!
Can you believe that? That never happens. I think this was like a $60 game. I had the best summer of my life. Pikmin 4 is good by itself. Free Pikmin 4? Instantly. I've completely fucked up my grading scale. So I unfairly gave it a 10 out of 10. I'm biased. When I got it for free, it's the best game I've ever played in my goddamn life. But for real, even if I paid full price for it, this game is phenomenal. And I bought an Ochi... Hold on a second. We gotta bring him in. I gotta show you. BRB. Also, friendly reminder to leave that like. There he is, guys. The goodest boy right here. If you don't like Pikmin 4, I can't be friends with you. I don't fucks with you. I don't trust you if you don't like Pikmin. Pikmin is my... I will stand by it forever. But we got Ochi in this mix. I almost forgot I had him. This is an official one. This isn't just filled with Chinese syringes, okay? This is an official Nintendo one. I saw so much Pikmin stuff when I went to the Nintendo store in Osaka and Tokyo that I was overwhelmed. I bought a few other Pikmin things and I gave them as gifts. Basically all the Pikmin stuff that I bought in Japan I gave out as gifts because I just want to spread my love. That's literally it. I got these Pikmin flavored tablets. They're lychee flavored tablets that you drop in your water bottle. I got them from Don Quixote, and I gave them to a friend. And then I bought some like Pikmin stationery and stickers, and I put Pikmin stickers all over my suitcase. I gotta show you this shit. This is gonna be the craziest show and tell he's ever done. Okay. I have to hold this closed. Back here. I got Pikmin stickers all up on this bitch right here. You can kind of see the bowl orb there and the various Pikmin and the captains. Also, I have 5 pounds. I have 5 pounds of Japanese candy in here. I had to. I've got 5 pounds of Japanese candy in there. All right. Little mukbang. Impromptu mukbang. This right here is called Chocolate Thunder. Chocolate Thunder is one of my... It's a very popular candy bar in Japan. It's got like cookies. It tastes like a Twix mixed with an Oreo. And Costco's in the United States are now selling these. You can buy like a whole 4-pound bag of Chocolate Thunder at Costco for like $16, but you will get your money's worth. Anyone in chat try Chocolate Thunder? These things are the best. Mukbang. Mm. 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 Okay. My suitcase. I went to Don Quixote and they had Pikmin stickers for like 200 yen, which is like $1.20. Something like that. And I stuck them all over my suitcase. I bought a suitcase while I was in Japan because they're real cheap over there. And I filled it with candy because this candy shop, Daigashi, I think it was called the Okinawa Sweets Shop, was going out of business. And it was in this town I was staying in. So everything was like 40 to 50% off. And I loaded my luggage with, I think, 10 pounds of candy. And then my games and stuff like that. But I had so much candy, I went all out. And then I bought those stickers, and I put them all over my luggage. And I want to say I had like 20 Pikmin when I got to Haneda, which is the airport, the international airport in Tokyo. And when I got to Atlanta, I had probably about 12 Pikmin. And then from Atlanta to Kansas City, I had like 7 Pikmin left. So I just, in my head, I I was like imagining all the Pikmin falling off because in Atlanta they were just fucking launching my suitcase and stuff. And I just imagine all my Pikmin going, and just dying. Anyway, that's the Pikmin segment. Hope you enjoyed it. And the candy segment. Moving on. What else we got? Oh, this big stack here. Yeah, let's keep going. When I was in Japan, it was when Suikoden. Genso Suikoden desu. Ichi ni. Ha. Right here. Suikoden's like one of my top favorite RPGs. I actually did a panel. I did an impromptu panel. It's on the channel. It's called the Suikoden Revival Movement. I gave an educational panel on Suikoden 1 and 2. It's actually based off of Chinese mythology in a book called Water Margin. But I beat Suikoden 1. It's all done. I'm going to start Suikoden 2. This is region free. Go watch my Japan vlog video. All sorts of Suikoden in that. Moving on. Super Mario RPG is my favorite game. I think I bought 2 copies of this and I gave one to a friend. I'm part of the problem. But Mario RPG is also, it's kind of basic in terms of RPGs. I thought it was a bit more complex than it actually was, because when I was a kid, there's some really tough boss battles in it. And it was one of my favorite games on the Super Nintendo. And it's something I had wanted a remake of, but I gotta be honest with you. This was too much like the Super Nintendo game. They really didn't change up all that much. You can get the original soundtrack or the remix. I prefer the original soundtrack. And, I mean, it's shiny. It's nice to look at. It's serviceable. But as far as remakes are concerned, they didn't go far enough. They should have added more content to it. But I do like the new animatics. Like, they made some new animations for, like, the super attacks and then the cutscenes and stuff, but it doesn't feel as revolutionary as the Super Nintendo did with the Super FX chip. Anyway, it's okay. I'd recommend it. It's really easy, though. Okay, we're rolling into this next one here. This is another remake of one of my all-time favorite games, literally in my top 5 games of all time. Do I have it next to me, Miles? Hey, Akiko, do you even have it? It's in the stack somewhere, but I got We Love Katamari. This is Reroll plus Royal Reverie. This was like $30. And this is We Love Katamari, I think, is the peak Katamari game. Some might disagree with me, but We Love Katamari on the PlayStation 2 was supposed to be Kaida Takahashi's last Katamari game. And it was, because he moved on to form Uvula, where he made, he just released a new game called To a T, which I'm going to be playing. I haven't played it yet. And Crankin's Time Adventure, and then a few other things. But we love Katamari. This is peak Katamari. And this actually has like additional levels and bonus chapters where you play as the king, the king of all cosmos as a kid. And I think every Katamari game that came after this was a derivative of this formula and not as good and polished. Keita put his heart and soul into We Love Katamari. And if you respect anything about game design, I urge you to play the first 2 Katamari games. You can definitely see a through line between them. If somebody said greatest was beautiful Katamari on 360, best frame rate, absolutely beautiful. Yeah, and then there's all those DLC levels you have to pay to unlock. I'm sorry, I can't get down with you on that one, Gunpla. Damashi's your favorite. Yeah, the original's pretty good, but We Love, I probably sunk the most hours into. And it's my happy place game. Look at this shit. I'm noticing a theme here, but this is another remake. Panzer Dragoon. I regret getting this. This is from Limited Run Games. I do not like doing business with them, but sometimes the only way to get a physical product, sadly, is through them. Panzer Dragoon, Sega Saturn, all-time top great game. The remake is just so weird. Is this in the Unity engine? I'm not sure which engine this is in, but it feels like a Sega Naomi port of the game. It's not great. I wish they would have done Saga, Panzer Dragoon Saga, if I had to choose. So many other Sega games that they could have gone with, but I honestly recommend the Saturn version over this. And this took me over a year or so after I bought it. Long time for Limited Run to ship me that. And this goes for like $10 now. It's worthless. But, oh well. WarioWare, this is Get It Together. Interesting little project. Weirdish party game. Doesn't really utilize the Joy-Cons to their full potential. I like the other one, Move It, better. But it's still good. There's really no bad Wario game out there except for maybe Master of Disguise. And even that's still okay. Alan Smithy says, I remember the last limited run game I bought was PBBG. They shipped it to me without notice after I moved, and it ended up getting delivered to me 6 months late as a result. Yeah, let me tell you what happened with my silver case. It was like a year and a half, maybe 2 years before I got the silver case. They sent out a Steam code, and then like a year later, the game finally showed up. I did it. I got it, and we'll get into that some other time. Anyway, this is a game that I bought from PlayAsia. If you didn't know, PlayAsia is a retailer from Asia where you can get what they call Asia English games, which means that they're region free. All Switch games are region free, but Asia English in particular have the English language and sometimes other languages like Chinese or Spanish or what have you on the cartridge. And for $30, I got one of my all-time favorite games, Chrono Cross: The Radical Dreamers Collection. I'm not sure if this is the only physical way you can get this, but correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it's on PS4, but I wanted this. I wanted to play it on the go. The Switch version has some frame rate issues. So word to the wise, if you're going to get this, just be all right with some frame dropping here. But that's okay. It's worth it for Chrono Cross. Best soundtrack almost of any game ever. I love the overworld theme a lot in the acoustic guitars, and this also comes with Radical Dreamers, which was the Nintendo Satellaview exclusive text adventure. So if you like visual novels, there's a canon, non-canon visual novel that comes on the cartridge itself. It didn't come with instructions, but this one is always with me. I always play this one when the mood strikes me. All right, moving on. Mario Odyssey. It was a one and done for me. I'm being honest. As far as 3D Marios go, I like Super Mario 3D World. The new one with the Bowser's additional content's pretty good. I don't really like Odyssey all that much. I found it to be too easy. The concept in itself was basically Kirby. It's Kirby. It's essentially a Kirby game. I prefer Galaxy. I prefer Sunshine. I prefer 3D World. 3D World's my top out of the 3D Marios because it's more in format with Mario Brothers 2, which is my all-time favorite. I know, Doki Doki Panic, but that's my personal preference. I'm not a big Pokemon head. This game runs like absolute trash. Maybe it'll run better on Switch 2. The texture quality is worse than Deadly Premonition 2. How does this look worse than Deadly Premonition 2? I will never know. Skip it. This generation of Pokemon was awful. Heart Gold and Soul Silver plus or something, okay? XXYY, something like that. You will be sucked. Over that. No thank you. What else? We got other stacks in here. I got some big boys. Oh, yeah. Continuing on. This is my girlfriend's. I don't know anything. I think this is the one set in Japan. I think I watched her play this a little bit, and I thought that's kind of cool. Like, I do like the setting, but once again, very dog shit in presentation. BioPhoenix says, I'm a Sunshine guy. Mario 64 is the most fun, says Arioka. Yeah, it's not bad. I like the DS one better than the OG. Okay, big boys. Here's a game that is not currently compatible with the Switch 2. Nier Automata. This is the end of the Yora edition. That's the reverse. It's got one of those reverse cover arts on it. End of the Yora edition. That's the original cover, but when given the option, I flip it. But that's Nier. The Nier series is Nier 1 is like in my top 3 games. This one has all the additional DLC and stuff on the cartridge. For a Switch game, it runs at 60, I believe. It very smooth. It's a good on-the-go kind of game. Right now it's not currently compatible with the Switch 2. I guess they're working on it. But I would like to see this, like, the Square Enix put out like an up-res patch or something like that. And they get popping here on that thing. Remember when games had instruction guides? Some of them that I own, Gun Plus, some of the Switch games came with them. Now we need a Drakengard remake. I don't know. You're just going to have to burn that whole thing down and start over from scratch. Remake it from Genesis. Drakengard is so bad. I'm sorry. I understand its artistic merit, but the gameplay is so base. Okay. Can we talk about Tears of the Kingdom? Can we? I didn't buy this for me. I bought it for somebody else. But I like it. Tears of the Kingdom's great. It has a little Big Planet sort of feel where you're in a sandbox and you make these weird Rube Goldberg contraptions, stick together things. Like, it makes you... I honestly think overall this is a better product than the first one. Was it worth $70? I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say there's enough content to justify it. There is a lot of repeat assets. But mechanically speaking, it's the most freeing and liberating, like, non-rigid Zelda game out there. More so than Breath of the Wild. But I'm not going to rebuy this shit again. I'm not going to do it for Switch 2. Paying full price, and then what was it? Like the Upgrade Plus expansion still runs you about $50. No. I'm not going to do that again. And this killed Yuzu. This killed Yuzu. I've got an opinion on that. First of all, not a fan of Nintendo taking down Yuzu and all the other forks. And they went after Citra. They went after everything. It was the most brutal bloodbath out of any emulator scene, any homebrew dev scene I've ever seen. It caused a cascading effect of people pulling their repos down. There are some forks, like Ryujinx is still there. But the Yuzu devs kind of brought it upon themselves. Is that a controversial take? So Tears of the Kingdom, I think, leaked about 2 weeks before the game came out. And Yuzu had a patch that they were advertising on their Patreon that would make it run. Like, they got it up and running. And there's some allegations, once again, grain of salt here, but there was some allegations that Nintendo had ninjas within the Discord and they were monitoring the Discord chat logs. First of all, you should know, if you're going to run some shady ramshackle operation that could open you up for a lawsuit, do not do business on Discord, because they can import the entire chat log, I think, into an XML in just a couple of clicks. And then, like, Discord will just hand over all the info. Even your secret private channels, your Gooner channels, they got it all. And the allegations were that somebody had access to the Nintendo Switch source development kit, which, if you don't know, in emulator circles, the way emulators work and the way that they're quote-unquote allowed is that they are done in a clean room environment, meaning that they have no knowledge or no reference from actual source code. Okay, they kind of reverse engineer things and they create their own code, and then thus the emulators. So if you have access to an SDK, that's a big fucking problem. And you're kind of asking for Nintendo to lawyer up at that point. So there's the allegations of the source development kit with being passed around within the Yuzu Discord, plus a ROM repo, plus these patches or fixes for Tears of the Kingdom. So, like, I am not on the side of Nintendo whatsoever, but I get it. I really get it. That's my contrarian perspective there. Yuzu, somebody said Yuzu was too cocky. I kind of feel they ruined it for other emulator devs like Citra and all this. There's even allegations going back to the Nintendo Wii now that the homebrew channel had some dirty code in it. That they had some reference material from a development kit, and they've pulled the homebrew channel. Thankfully, it's been widely distributed at this point, but it's really caused a world of shit for the future of emulator development, and it's because they had to have a Patreon. I have a Patreon, by the way, patreon.com/Hikiko, but they had to do it, and it was like one of those weird roundabout things, like, oh, you're paying for patches, you know? They flew too close to the sun. Speaking of, when's that Kid Icarus Uprising getting a port, huh? Okay, going on. My buddy Rai got me this. I haven't played this yet, but it's called Cafe Enchant. Enchanté, I think. Cafe Enchanté. I think it's a eroge visual novel. I think so. I think this is for Otome. It's an Otome. I think it's an Otome visual novel. So, shout out to Rai. He knows I love these. Unicorn Overlord. I own 3 copies of this. Okay. Shout out to George Kamatani. Shout out to Vanillaware. I have 3 copies of this in my house. Once again, one for me, one for my hooker, and one for Vanillaware, because we had to get this big boy right here. Unicorn Overlord is a phenomenal. This is like literally the best. It's better than Fire Emblem, if you ask me. It's kind of a war strategy, somewhat rock paper scissors game. Beautiful hand-drawn sprites. This one comes with the book, like an art book. I got every Vanillaware art book out there. No doubt. I'm not joking. I love Vanillaware games. I finally got to play Princess Crown for the first time too. And this also has a full-on card game in there. There's a card game that they developed separate from the actual game, so you can actually play with friends. Art book, soundtrack. It came with some DLC, and then I think it came with some standees or something. Those acrylic standees the Japanese love, but I had to get it on Switch because for whatever reason, Amazon was selling this for $30 for like 24 hours. So I'm like, I'll take 2. And then, of course, shout out to Vanillaware. I may have a PS4 copy. I don't know. It's getting bad, guys. But this guy, Hikiko, is keeping Vanillaware afloat single-handedly. I'm trying to think if I have any. I don't have any other Vanillaware stuff near me, but 13 Sentinels is pretty good. Really is a shame they refuse to release it on PC, but at least I experienced it. I think it emulates pretty well, but support Vanillaware. That's my thought on that. Do I have anything else in these stacks? We got to be winding down. I can't have that many Switch games. I mean, we're not even accounting for the digital ones. I have some digital exclusive games that we could talk about. Oh, we got more. Sakuna of Rice and Ruin. This is kind of an indie game. It was published by Xseed, but if you want something that has like an old Muramasa, that's what it reminds me of. Speaking of Vanillaware, it reminds me of Muramasa. It also has like a little farming simulator in there too. It's I think this is pretty cheap. You can get this for about $20. Really solid 2D action kind of game. I'd like to talk about it someday. Oh. I got Persona 5 Strikers. I swear to you, I did not pay that sticker price. I didn't pay $40. I think I paid a little less than that. I think this is like a Muso game. I didn't play that far into it. Got this for $20. I own this game like on the PS3, but I think Neo no Kuni plays better on the go, kind of like a Pokemon game. If you didn't know, this is a Studio Ghibli joint. They did the artwork, and I think the London Symphony or something did the soundtrack. No, Joe Hisashi did the soundtrack. So yeah, you got some legendary composers and stuff, and I think they like streamlined the combat a little bit more. It's got a bit of a weird system. But this is by Level 5, who did Dark Cloud, the Professor Layton series, Rogue Galaxy. Am I forgetting something? Dark Chronicle for you Euros out there. Oh, here's a good one. This one changed my life forever. A Switch game that changed my... Is it Deadly Premonition 2 again? Is it The Good Life? No. This game changed my life forever. That's right. Ring Fit Adventure. Don't sleep on it. Hakiko's telling you this. All right. Old chubby Hakiko is no more. Big Papa Pump. Hakiko. Right there, boy. All due to Ring Fit Adventure. Okay. I think I got this during the pandemic. I needed some activity. A lot of shit was closed. I did cardio and stuff, but I didn't really do any other exercises. And this is a solid adventure RPG. Really tough. And it cranks the difficulty up and down based on how well you do. This game will get you to sweat. It'll get you sore. And because of this game, I got my ass into the gym. And I changed my life forever. I changed my life forever. 5 days a week, folks. I'm either walking or I'm exercising or in the gym. It really, I wouldn't say it saved my life. We won't go that far. But it helped me find a new motivation. Really hard game. It will kick your ass. Don't let the cartoonish veneer trick you. This is a hardcore game. I recommend it. I don't even think this is compatible with Switch 2. I'll have to double check. You might need Joy-Con 1s for it. But this game will kick your ass. Get it. Get it. I did not buy Labo. I didn't get cucked into Labo. Yeah. Kiko Swoley. Yeah. I seriously would have never stepped foot in the gym if it wasn't for Ring Fit. Can you play Ring Fit with drifting Joy-Cons? Probably not. Ring Fit stream, please. I'm not opposed to it. I'll embarrass myself. That game still, I'm out of breath in some of the exercises they do. We got, hey, Yves Angela says, one time I was checking out pawn shops and found some of the framed numbered art prints from the release of 13 Sentinels on Switch for like a criminally low price. You mean like the ones you see in GameStop? You should have scooped those. If you have the chance, go scoop those. Let's see. Ferris, what's up? I own the physical edition of the Silvercase 2425 Deluxe Edition. Own it on Steam too. Yeah. I went through the Silvercase on my PC, and you had to tap the space bar for every line of text. I did that thousands of times for that video. First on the scene, your boy Hikiko with the Silvercase. Not the biggest fan, personally. I get it. I get it. I'm not laughing, but I get it. Andro said, I would buy a Switch just for Ring Fit. Way better than Wii Fit. Wii shit is more like it. Wii Fit, you can't lose any weight on that. Reggie lied to you. Coconut says, I'm pretty sure Ring Fit is my most played game on the Switch. Yeah, it was for a period in time. And then I actually went to the gym and I never looked back. Electronic Pig says, how could I get the motivation to exercise if Akiko doesn't stream Ring Fit? Are you going to guilt me into a Ring Fit stream? I'll do it. I'll do it. God, I'm already sweaty and I'll have to get a fan in here or something if I do it. I also got Doinksoft put out a game, and I like Doinksoft and I like Revolver or Devolver Digital. And it wasn't through Limited Run, it was through Special Reserve Games. Allegedly, they said this is going to be the only physical exclusive for the Nintendo Switch. Demon Throttle. Demon Throttle is like a side-scrolling shoot 'em up, kind of in the vein of Akari Warriors. A little bit of a bullet hell. A demon kiss my wife or something. But I'm a fan of indie games, and this one is supposedly only physical. And I have seen this in GameStop. It's not entirely rare. And it came with stickers. It came with a full-color instruction booklet. I have the stickers somewhere else, but this came from Special Reserve Games. And there's the tagline. That demon kissed my wife, or something. That's the tagline. It's a co-op game. Co-op shoot 'em up. And God, there's so many other indie games that I have digital, like Baba Is You. Nintendo Switch, even though I didn't showcase a lot of them, was home to thousands of indies and lots of shovelware and hentai games somehow. Iwata would be rolling in his grave. There were TC Sun says Doinksoft collection is pretty good too. I need to get that. Play the Wii Balance Board horror game. Helen Homunculus, I have that. I have a few exclusive Wii Fit Balance Board. I think in my Wii video I covered some of them. Punch Out uses that balance board. Is that my stacks? Oh no, we got a couple more big things here. Golly. We're at hour 51. We're winding down here. Got about 15 more minutes. We'll say you guys have been very generous. Thanks for hanging in there. I'm sorry I didn't play any games, but this is a appreciation stream. So we got some heavy hitters coming out here. Right there. I got that dang Smiling Man game. Focus! I got that dang Smiling Man game. Emio the Smiling Man. I didn't open this, did I? On my video? Maybe I did. But, let me show you. I paid $30 US, 30 for like a $60 game, plus a complete collector's edition. Brand new. Brand spanking new. So it came with, an art book, and it's got a spoiler, bracket right there. I haven't opened this because I'm not quite finished with Emio. I'm like on chapter 5. It came with a physical game, which is currently in my OLED Switch at the moment, because I'm still playing it. But it came with the box. And then if you remove this, here comes the best part. There's your little thumbnail. Right there. It came with a paper bag. And, yeah, it's just a printed version of the marker. It wasn't like some Japanese guy took out a Sharpie and just scribbled it in the factory. But, smells like, the murders, the deaths of many high school age women. Or so the legend goes. And then, I think this is another art book. Look at this. It came with another art book because one wasn't enough. I still haven't opened this yet. I'm going to open this after, because it's got the spoiler ribbon on there. So, this is a 200-page book. A 200-page book. It's a thick boy. And I paid $30 US. I guess that's not including like shipping it from Japan to the US. I mean, if you include my airfare, it was part of my carry-on though. So yeah, I'm happy to have that. Famicom Detective Club 1 and 2 also got a physical release in Japan, but they don't have English on it. This one does have English on it for whatever reason. So, the soundtrack, get out of town. All right. The last of the physical. Somebody asked in chat if I played Animal Crossing. Yes. 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 Hundreds of hours, probably, here and there. Maybe like 100 hours. I honestly don't think it's the best one out of... I kind of prefer the 3DS one and the DS one, if I had to pick. GameCube OG, if you really want to know, for the NES games. This here, high class. This is my Bayonetta 3 Trinity Masquerade Edition. Bayonetta 3 is currently a Switch exclusive. Nintendo, I believe, helped produce this, so they paid for it, so it's still a Switch exclusive. I held off on getting it. I almost got it at launch, but there was a controversy, like, the original voice actress for Bayonetta was just like, they didn't want to pay me. They didn't want to pay me what I was owed. They don't care about voice actors. And then I guess, like, the truth came out that they actually offered her a certain amount of money, and she didn't like it. And so, they recasted her, and there's like multiple. This is a multiverse Bayonetta game, so there's multiple variants of Bayonetta in here, so I guess it's fine. But Bayonetta is a very I love Bayonetta 1 and 2. I bought a Wii U for the Wonderful 101 and Bayonetta 1 and 2 and Pikmin 3. So I still have my physical copies of Bayonetta 1 and 2, but let's bust this fucker open. So this came with, in Japan, once again, I paid $25 US, I believe. 25 or 30 for this fucking crazy collector's edition. This is the Art of Bayonetta craziness. This was secondhand. It had a tiny dent in the box. Just the tiniest dent. So they slashed the price on it. So it came with the art book. And then on the interior, there's like a little frame. I don't know if there's anything under that frame. I think there's something in here. I don't know what's in here. I'm afraid to open it. I don't want to break it. Oh, hey, I didn't know this was in here. Oh, okay. Look at this shit. Oh my God, I didn't even know this was in here. It came with alternate cover art for Bayonetta 1, for the Switch 1 release. Look at that. Alternate box art slips. And then it also came with an alternate box art slip for Bayonetta 2. And an alternate box art for Bayonetta 3 in case you're not satisfied with this one. That's kind of crazy. Man, I wish I could live in Japan every day of my life. I said to myself when I was on my trip, Miles, if you just drop dead here in Japan, life well lived. No regrets. I kept wishing, I was like, man, I just hope, like, if I'm going to die, I don't want to die in America. Let me die over here. Just at the peak happiness. I plan on dying in Japan, eventually. I'm going to get back over there sometime. I was talking to my friend. They're like, don't you feel bad about like betraying your country and like you've lived your whole life here? Don't you want to die and be buried in the same soil as all your ancestors and relatives? And I said, no. Because if you grow old in America, I'm going to tell you how you're going to die. You're going to die losing your sense of self in a retirement home. And then some underpaid teenager is going to beat the shit out of you and film it on TikTok. And you're not going to know here nor there. They're just going to beat the shit out of you and post it on TikTok, and that's going to be the rest of your life. That's how it ends. Not me, suckers. I'm going to die overlooking a beautiful beach. The sun setting. I'm going to hear loud ass crows. I'm going to have melon pan in one hand, a Japanese wife in the other, robot wife in the other. And I'm going to die in peace surrounding. Know that I did it. I got to play all the games. I got to eat onigiri. I got to eat hot pot every day. It's going to be like Yakuza 3. Old man Hikiko is going to be running a sunshine orphanage. He's going to be Senpai Hikiko. Okay. What else could I be? Aniki Hikiko. He's going to do it. He's going to take care of the young ones. He's going to get the robot wife. He's going to eat good food, and he's going to not know anyone for 6,000 miles. Everyone else will be over here in America, where the money is just slowly being devalued. And then your rights and freedoms are going to be stripped away. Your transportation is going to continue to decay. And no one's going to be around that knows how to fix it. Fucking sucks. But Hikiko, he's eternal in Japan. He will be over there. Hikikomori media will continue on till my twilight years. When I'm in, I don't know, maybe Okinawa. I'm not sure where. But I'm going to be over there. I'm not going to die here. I'm going to die over there. I've thought about this way too much, but I really, like, my biggest fear is to lose my mind. Just getting dementia in America is a death sentence no matter what, but it's even worse. Because your ass is going to get beat. Your ass is going to get beat and posted on TikTok. And none of your relatives are going to visit you. Sorry. That's the American way. Say it for me.
Oh shit, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh shit, I'm little black pill at the tail end of the street. Come with me. Who's with me? Let's get out of here. This is a sinking empire. The sun is setting on the United States, but it's rising in the east. We can eat Fammy chicken for the rest of our days. Who's with me? Abandoned ship. This, guys, if it wasn't for Japanese video games, my life would be so much lamer. I am so sick. I'm done with it. I'm jaded. I'm an old jaded fuck. Shout out to JR with the 5.99 euros. This is for Hotel Barcelona fund. That money will be spent towards the price of Hotel Barcelona. Hikiko is making an unvoiced, uncredited cameo in there. Look out for me in the credits. I tried to get Swery to put me in Deadly Premonition 2 at one point. He didn't do it. Frogminute says, if Japan lets someone like me in, it's over for Japan. I was talking to my friend, and she was like, you know what? By the time you retire, Hikiko, by the time you retire, their population is going to be in such a crisis that they're going to be begging for immigrants. So that may be the perfect time for you. I'm not wishing that, by the way. I wish the population well. I wish many happy, healthy babies over there. But secretly, if it helps me immigrate over and get the fuck off this sinking ship, I'm going to do it. The first chance I get. Nobody ever believes me. They're like, oh, look at Hikiko. He's the old man yelling at the cloud. He talks about how good glorious Nippon is. And their eyes glaze over. I can see it. I can feel it in their soul. That deep resentment they have. It's like, this is a guy that's actually eaten takoyaki and lived and come back to tell the tale. This is a man that went up the Sumaida River for melon pan. He's actually been to the Ghibli Museum. He stayed in Osaka. I don't know. Guys, I'm going to say this now. Don't go to Japan. It'll jade you for life. I look at the world differently now. I don't take my life for granted. Everything I do is in service of my overall dream. And that's to own like an, they call them, oh shit. They call them Akiyas. Akiya des. Akiya des are abandoned houses in Japan. And as the population's aging out and they don't have any family to pass down things to, real estate is very cheap over in Japan. Hikiko can't really afford to buy a house outright in America, but in Japan, woo-wee, I can be a property owner over there. My plan, and this is just pie in the sky, if everything works out 20 years from now or whenever it is, my plan is to buy kind of a fall spring home or something like during the good seasons that I can stay for 90 days at a time or whatever. You can stay a bit longer depending on your situation. If I get a part-time job over there, I am qualified to be a teacher. So if I take up a part-time job, maybe I can get a visa, a working visa. So when I'm retired over in America, I'll just take up a part-time job teaching English. 20 hours a week max. And then I'll own some property over there, and then maybe a business can sponsor me, and then I'll just fade. I'll just fade out over there. It's very hard to just get full citizenship. You have to marry someone and get a job over there and do all this other stuff. There's a lot of hoops to go through. But for the rest of my life, the rest of my working life will be in service of getting the fuck out of here and never looking back. And that's that. No shame. I'm over it. I've spent my whole life over here. I pined for Japan for the majority of my life. When I was a kid, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, when I was broke, man, I couldn't picture this. When I was a kid, I could not even conceptualize what Japan was. I craved it. I studied. I did everything right so I could go there. And I implore every one of you to go while you're young and you're able. Go. 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 Don't make any excuses. Find a way. Get your ass over there. And when you come back to the States or wherever, it's gonna creep in how many different angles you're getting fucked from. It's so bad. I was discussing this with a friend today. I was like, you know what movement I'm a part of now? Ever since coming back from Japan, I'm part of the anti-tipping movement. Fuck tipping forever. When I went to Japan and I got quality service and I paid what was on the menu, exactly prices advertised, 3-course meals for $7 US, no tipping, none. And they were happy to do it. and they greeted me with a smile. They asked how I was doing. My drinks were filled up on time. It was clean. Nobody was yelling or screaming. It was great. That was every restaurant, big, small, everything. And I was just like, they've somehow functioned as a society by paying workers a livable wage and then not passing that burden off onto customers. That in America, literally every single service. I say this as I'm getting super chats. I realize the irony, okay? It's not lost on me. But every single place in America, our tipping culture is bad. Doesn't matter what service. Like, I'm going to buy a donut. The tablet is placed at, they turn it around, the 180. Would you like a 30% tip on that donut? You know? And they do that. And it's a guilt-based thing because you feel bad because the worker across from you is getting paid a shit wage. It's not fair. It's not a fair system. And some of the time, that tip doesn't even go to that person. It's split among everyone else. And sometimes they get paid below minimum wage. Like in some states, they get paid like $3.50 hourly plus tips. And the way businesses rationalize paying people $3.50 is, oh, you make up the difference with tips. I've worked for tips in my life. I've worked restaurant jobs. I've worked other service jobs too. And I didn't like it back then. I didn't like it now. Also, as a customer, it puts this like weird burden on you. When I order something online, say I order something for carryout from a restaurant, I order a small item. Let's say, biscuits and gravy or a slice of pie, just a slice of pie. I order it online. I drive out to that restaurant and then I get that slice of pie. But on the online, they're like, would you like 15%? Or it's like 10%, 15%, 30% gratuity, 20, whatever. This additional gratuity, like, why? How do I even know that pie's good, that it's fresh, that the service, like if the service is going to be good? I'm literally going in there to pick up a piece of pie. And so like as Americans, we're now thrown into this Larry David-esque Curb Your Enthusiasm situation where we are now reviewers. We have to like judge the quality. We're now kings. Or the customer's always right, and people have to bend over backwards to us and treat us with respect. And then, it's like, it's a fucked up system. Not to say I don't tip. I do. There are certain services where I'm like, it's non-negotiable. You got to do it. But if I'm going in carry out and I'm just grabbing my shit and going, what am I paying for? Where's that tip going? If I'm getting a donut, am I tipping for that donut in addition? Should I? I think it should be a case-by-case basis. I tip for like serious services, like haircut. I ain't fucking around. You're getting a tip. Yeah, you're getting a tip. I ain't walking out with no yee haircut. It's that guy. It's that cheapskate. And they, took a little too much off the top. But I'm not blaming the workers, by the way. They are the victims of tipping culture. They're the victims at the bottom of the stack here. But it's crept into other things too. Because in America, we have cut down our fast food workforce to the bare minimum. Cashiers in low skill jobs have been replaced with kiosks now. They expect the customer to go in either through their app or go on these little tablets and punch in their own order and make all this stuff. And they rationalize hiring less people for that, but they don't lower the prices on the food in respect. And that's even at restaurants where tipping is a thing too. They still make you bust out the tablets and then take your own order and do all this and that. Or if you're in a grocery store, it's the self-service lanes, and they don't really pass on the savings of not hiring other people. And they make you feel like shit as a customer for not for wanting to opt out of a raw deal. So, when I went to Japan, as I said, once you go to Japan and you experience a functional, clean society where people were paid what's owed to them without the obligation of a tip, and people show you respect and you get respect. It's like a mutual thing. And you're like, wow, why can't everywhere be like this? What's going on? It's because we're getting fucked somehow over here. I haven't figured out all the ways in which, but once you go there, you'll get it. You'll get it. Okay, I'm not trying to be a cheapskate here. I still tip. I don't like it. I'm now red-pilled on the tipping. All right, let's read a little chat. 67 people. You guys are phenomenal. I want to remind y'all, no pressure here, but please, if it'll work. Let's see if it'll spin up. Can we get it? Let me try one more time. My animated graphic. There it is. I'm gonna kiss it. Bang. Get out of my face. Leave that like. This has been a great stream. I got to share my Nintendo Switch collection. I'm not a full-blown hater, okay? I will get a Switch 2 probably next year, I want to say. If any sweary game, if any Suda game becomes an exclusive, or there's some weird niche game that I have to check out, I'll do it. I'll probably borrow a Switch. I do have a friend getting a Switch 2, so if I have to make any like emergency videos, I'll borrow their Switch 2 for like a week and pay them or something. I'll tip them. But I'm not going to be getting a Switch 2 for the foreseeable future. TC Sun says, "Your passport, bro." I am. MDKL says, "I was never in favor of tipping to begin with. Mr. Pink said it best." Yeah. I can't repeat Mr. Pink there. Dude Face with the $2 dono and the super sticker. Thanks, dude. Thanks for the tip. He just trashed on tip, and he's just gonna go ahead and collect them. No, that is gonna go towards Hotel Barcelona and Death Stranding 2. I reviewed Death Stranding 1, one of my all-time favorite. It's like one of my all-time. It's my top PS4 game. What can I say? Alan Smithy says, "Tipping is the reason I don't go out anymore. Too annoying, even when you know what I'm getting. Like 3 years ago, it's 15%. Now it's 20%. Forget that noise." Yeah, 15% is what my grandparents always told me. 15%, no matter what. Little less if it was bad service. Baldy McNosehair with the 5 maple dollars. We thank you, Baldy McNosehairs. What are your criticisms of the Switch 2? Also, keep up the great work. I kind of covered him a little bit earlier in the stream, but since you donated, price is messed up. DRM remains to be seen, but having to have a day one update to use the thing, not good. Not impressed with the mouse gimmicks. Feel like it's way overpriced for all the accessories. However, we did cover the Switch 1 also had expensive accessories. The launch software, I'm not going to get excited until Kirby's Air Ride comes out, if I'm being real with you. I'd rather have an OLED screen over LCD. Sorry, I'm spoiled. OLED is the tits, and I'm just going to buy OLED for the rest of my life. Even my phone it's a non-negotiable. You guys want to see this, by the way? Let me get rid of all my noties. I got all these noties here. It happens. You guys are going to love this. So, it's a non-negotiable for me, but that's my OLED. And I have Maria there. You can kind of see her. There we go, focused. But I got this really cool Maria lock screen, and it's like got the pink typeset and everything. But I have OLED on everything, so if I get a Switch 2 in the future, it'll probably be around the time OLED comes out. All right, going through these chats. I'm going to read these chats, And we'll see you next Wednesday. Cinna says, tipping used to make sense because America was goated, but this country sucks and I don't want to tip anymore. Right? It sucks. And they've cut out the middleman in every single facet. Like McDonald's, I could get into inflation. I can get into like how COVID really fucked over fast food. Like McDonald's used to have the advantage of fast, consistent, and cheap. All right? They had the trifecta. Now they maybe have one of the two. Fast. Some of the time. But it's not cheap anymore. And the McDonald's I've been to haven't been consistent either. And it's, they don't pay. Okay, the McDonald's do pay their workers, I think. Some of them will pay a manager about $20 an hour, which for the kind of job that is, that's okay. Nowhere near a livable wage here. But, yeah, there's no reason to go to McDonald's unless you get into their looped-in coupon system. Like occasionally I'll get $1 coffee. I do like their coffee. And for $1, I can't pass it up. Helen Homuncula says, it reaches new levels of insanity with food delivery. No tip, no trip. I don't do DoorDash. I don't do deliveries unless it's pizza. If somebody comes to my house, I will tip them for that. Like if I'm lazy enough to not get it myself, I will tip for that because I've had a pizza boy job before. Pizza boy. I will tip for that. I've been a pizza boy in a past life. It's a shit job, but I rarely get delivery. Rarely. I'll go pick it up myself. David says, yeah, fast food used to be fast and cheap. Now they make you wait 5 minutes and it's the same price as fast casual. That's right. Art and Times of Jay Ryan, The Lost Art of Common Courtesy. Jepic Condyle says, Silent Hill 2 port for Switch 2? Probably. I could see that happening. Game key cards is getting widespread. Oh, yeah. Eve's Angelus. I hate game key cards. I'm never going to own one. I don't care. The cope for game key cards is disgusting. No stubs. If I'm going to buy digital, I'll just get it on my Steam Deck. I trust Valve, sadly, over Nintendo when it comes to digital preservation and being able to carry my purchases over throughout the decades. My Steam purchases have followed me. Not all of my Nintendo ones have. No game key cards, ever. Okay, winding down here. Cinna says, Death Stranding was the 2010s game of the decade. Death Stranding 2 will be the 2020s game of the decade. I love the reassessment. I called this in my Death Stranding video. I knew how the reaction would be. The well was poisoned. People hated it for superficial reasons. They didn't want to immerse themselves. They wanted Meatloaf again. Where's the Metal Gear? Where's the violence? Where's the killing? And they didn't want big Hollywood Kojima stepping up. I think Death Stranding is a once in a generation kind of game. Death Stranding 2 is going to be probably more of the same. They might streamline some of the delivery mechanics, and there will be some odd little characters here and there. But I'm getting it. It's either that or Delta, and I'm getting Stranding 2. New game. Okay, some announcements. We've got Nintendo Switch 2 coming out next week. If somebody gets it and I'm able to borrow it, maybe I'll play a little bit of that if I'm able to get my hands on one. I'm not going to buy one. If I can borrow it from a friend, I'll do that. There's 2 games I want to stream. I want to stream Resident Evil Reverse before the servers shut down forever. So one of these nights we're going to do a Reverse stream. Another night we're going to do a Death Stranding stream so I can re-familiarize myself with Death Stranding and the delivery and the chiral. I'll wear my Death Stranding shirt. I got a Bridges shirt. So we'll do a Death Stranding night. And then in June, we're also going to do another ROM night 2, this time with fixed audio. We might do Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis. I'll put out a poll. And beyond that, that's about all I have planned. I got a video, of course, that I'm working on. And another plug, I have a Shadows of the Damned Hella Remastered, Shadows of the Damned Addendum Hella Remastered. That's my latest entry in the Kuriyami saga. It's on the channel. You can go watch that. People seem to enjoy it. It's doing okay. Anything else? Any last bits of business here? Okay, it's been a 2.5-hour stream. Thanks so much. Cool stream playlist. This one will go live. ROM Night 2. I'll see you all then. Take care, everyone.